Welcome to First Dates and Soulmates, where we ask the question, are you breaking a vow of celibacy if when you do it, you are a tomato? I am your co-host, Meg Casewolt.
And I'm Nikki McKnight.
And now that we're in the second year of our podcast, we are allowed to have traditions.
Yeah.
And one of our traditions that I have implemented and will hold tight to is that American Thanksgiving is a time for completely unhinged, sentient food romance.
This is VeggieTales representation. This is what people are fighting for.
I don't think that this is what Christian romance is looking for.
No,
I don't think this is what they were thinking about.
I do love that, you know, to your point, this is the second time that we're doing Meg's fucked up food choice for American Thanksgiving. And you know what? It really does. You know, it takes two things to make a pattern. It takes two instances to make a tradition. So happy tradition, soulmates. This is what we're getting ready for. You know, a lot of people look at American Thanksgiving and they're like, oh, family, maybe some shopping like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, maybe turkey, maybe football. I think football is a thing for Americans around Thanksgiving. Yeah. But for us, we're like, nope, it's fucked up food porn.
It's having sex with your meal. Yeah, it's produce. It's produce. So I feel like I've set a precedent that I really don't want to follow.
No, I love it. Let's do it. Let's go all in.
Here's the history of the tradition. Last year, we read Back for Seconds, a hedonist holiday erotica. I can't even say it without laughing. And if you want to go back and listen to that episode, it is episode, I believe, 28.
It's pretty early on.
It was very early on. Nikki wasn't sure what I had put her in for, and it is glorious. And Sierra decided to just lean into it. I was telling somebody about how we'd done Back for Seconds, and I was like, I don't know how I can top this. And she was like, oh, Meg, I have 3 words for you. Pounded by produce.
Pounded by produce.
A Veggie Love Tale.
Yeah.
It is not VeggieTale erotica, but it's pretty clear from the byline, from the subtitle, from the cover art. There's a little nudge here about VeggieTales, and I was like, I'm putting it on the calendar without reading it. I'm just leaning into this.
Yeah, we're going, I would say, full on cucumber into this. We're putting our whole tomato into this, because if you have not seen this cover, I feel like I can just say to you, it's a cucumber and 2 tomatoes, and y'all will just instantly get it. There's no need to describe it further.
No.
That's what it is.
Incredibly clear what's going on here, and it's not a surprise, and that's okay. So Nikki, before we get started, I do want to say that I have a Thanksgiving promotion going on. So if you all are listening to this live, if you're listening to this Thanksgiving weekend, we are actually celebrating this over in the Bailey Seaborn universe. Head on over to Amazon and grab your free copy of Peppermint Bark No Bite. I'm running it free for the whole weekend. I'm running a free Booksy deal on Saturday to try to get more people to discover it. So you can grab it on Amazon. You can grab it on free Booksy. You can tell your friends that this book exists, because even if you don't read it, even if you've already read it, even if you read it on Kindle Unlimited and now you go over and you buy it for free, get it into your downloads. I would really appreciate that, because I'm hoping to climb the charts with this book to get read-throughs for the next book, which is coming out, which is another Christmas novella. So I want to be climbing in Peppermint Bark and then releasing a new book in early December. So if you're listening to this in November, go grab your free copy of Peppermint Bark No Bite on Amazon. Again, even if you already have it downloaded on Kindle, even if you've already read it, go grab it.
Think of it, it's your palate cleanser if you decide to also pick up this book. I feel like Peppermint bark is dessert. You know, you had your salad and your vegetables.
Oh, God.
Good job with that nutrient-dense choice of things you ingested. And then just go cleanse your palate with some Peppermint Bark No Bite. I feel like it'll settle you. It'll settle you.
It really will. And if you're feeling hungry, then Peppermint Bark has a lot of desserts in it. It has the peppermint bark from the name. It has the peppermint pig. It has the apple pies. It does so much work on the satiation front for your dessert needs. So go grab that. Okay. Now that housekeeping aside, Nikki.
Yeah.
What did you think about Pounded by Produce?
I will say it was not what I expected it to be, because, okay, So when we read Back for Seconds, I also I didn't read the book blurb for that. I didn't read the book blurb for this. I kind of just found it in KU. I downloaded it and I just went for it. I went full cucumber into this thing. I was just like, I'm not going to know anything. So in our last episode, a recent episode, we were talking to Annalie and Shannon.
I was doing the outro with Annalie and Shannon. Yeah.
Yes, and all I knew was that like there was vegetables. I literally didn't know anything else about it. So when you said in the outro there are priests, I went, sorry, what now? There are priests.
Excuse me.
But even then, I still didn't read the blurb. So last night when I read the book and I picked it up, I forgot you had said there were priests in it.
Oh God.
So from like page 1, I was like, okay, interesting. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck am I reading? And then I actually had the thought, and I'm excited to get into this. Does this book actually have too much plot?
I think it did. I was not expecting a sentient romance book.
It had a lot of like religious drama in it. It had
like a why choose priests book.
Yeah.
To have quite that much angst.
Yeah, I think what I will start with was, did this have too much plot? Is my question for this book. But I'm excited to dive into everything else that is going along with this story.
That, I mean, maybe. And like we've touched on this previously. I was raised Catholic. I spent a lot of time learning the terminology, sitting in the pews, and the first thought that I came to mind is like, there is no way that there are these 2 young priests who are stationed at the same church. There's such a shortage in the priesthood.
That's not how the archdiocese works.
No, there's no way that the bishop would have put 2 priests together like this in a parish this small. This one priest that would serve this church would also be serving 3 or 4 others in the area. But okay, for the sake of the plot.
Yeah, this is the thing you really have to suspend your disbelief on, is the structure of how priests are assigned to different parishes.
There is a shortage. There is a shortage. This would be like having multiple bus drivers on the same bus. It's just not going to happen.
Or if anything, there would be like an old priest and a young priest. So like train the new priest. But no, 2 young hot priests, and they're like 20,
young hot priests.
26, 28, somewhere in there. They imply
and they
their
met
age.
at the seminary, and they got stationed at this church, and they are happy just being best friends and priests together. And then Emily arrives, and Emily is getting out of an abusive relationship, and she sees a newspaper listing that says, we're looking for a chef at the Catholic Church, and it includes housing. And she's like, great, I can get out of this bad relationship. And she applies sight unseen, and she arrives, and she's like, oh, hey, hot priests, but like, they're priests. I'll just make them sandwiches. And that's what we think is going to happen. That's not what happens, Nikki.
No, that's not what happens.
Or at least we think that the ordinary world is going to happen for a little bit longer before the 2 priests fall asleep in the garden. And then wake up and they are vegetables. Which, by the way, okay, they say vegetables every time they talk about how they've turned into vegetables. Technically, both cucumbers and tomatoes are botanically fruit.
Oh, that's true, because cucumber has seeds as well. And again, that these are fruits, not vegetables. And the fact that the priests don't work this way, top 2 complaints about the story. I can't get into it because of this.
I think I blame VeggieTales for the fact that it should have been Fruit Tales, really.
Or produce is a good catch-all term.
It is.
I honestly don't even... Where do you even want to start?
I have no idea.
With this? Okay, maybe let's start with our priests. Because what a character device here. So the 2 priests are Father Laurent, the bad boy of Catholicism, and Father Robert, the devout type, under which
straight-laced
stirrings happen.
Yes. Oh, God. He's the tomato. He's definitely the tomato.
Oh, God. Yeah. So they're both, when Emily meets them, she describes them as well-built. There's, I think it's Laurent with the curly brown hair, the dark and haunting brown eyes, strong jaw, and the other is the dirty blonde shaggy hair. I could never remember which was which. I just know that Laurent is like the bad boy. He's the one that is like, I don't really know if I have a purpose in life, because he came from a slightly richer background and he kind of fell into the seminary. He goes, yeah, I feel like this is a cool purpose. And he met Father Robert, in seminary. And, you know, they may have like masturbated together. That's totally cool. It's very Catholic. God would approve. And Robert is the one that is very like, I am here. I am being tested by God. But these priests, these aren't your regular kind of priests. These are not like other priests.
I'm the cool priest.
They're the cool priests. They swear, they curse, they, you know, talk about how bad their sermons are. They have tingles in the groiny bits for each other. And they're like, no homo, no gay. It's totally fine.
As long as they don't act on it.
Yeah, you know, we just like kind of jerked off in the same room as each other in seminary while we stared with like real creepy eye contact. But now that we're in our own place, we're in different rooms, so it's not quite the same thing.
It's not
I
the
think
same.
We're good. God would approve.
They had not taken their vows yet.
Yeah. So the other thing that is a part of this is that this isn't just both of them sharing Emily. They also be with each other.
Oh,
they're
the swords cross.
Each other. There are swords crossing.
And those are not just swords, those are like crucifixes crossing.
Yeah. So
I would say like Laurent is aware that he is in love with Robert versus Robert is just deeply, deeply in denial until about 5 pages before the book ends.
Yeah. I kind of it's so funny with Laurent, because he is the one that's like a little bit more gregarious, a little bit more outgoing. He's like, yeah, cool, God, whatever. Also, should we fuck? I think we should. And we're like, oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Priesthood.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, I was like, if y'all were Anglican, this would be fine. It's just the fact that you're a Catholic priest that this is not working for you. Yeah.
And that's what makes the stakes high. That's why they had to be Catholic.
That's also
makes
true.
the book work.
Because otherwise, them having sex with Emily or having feelings about her, it's the whole celibacy thing wouldn't be an issue. But, you know, we really need to dial up the tension in this vegetable fucking romance by bringing in religious drama and questionings about a higher purpose into the discussion.
So they're giving their sermons. One of them gives a sermon, and then they're saying goodbye and farewell to all of the old women who are the congregants. And there's an old woman in the church, and she has almost a prophecy about the truth will come to light.
Oh, you mean the creepy old woman doing her best Beauty and the Beast cosplay?
Right.
Like the enchantress? Like, people will know you. There will be a rose. It's fine.
Just make sure that you turn back into yourself before the rose petal falls. Before the cucumber gets juiced.
Yeah, she talks about, like, tonight is the harvest moon, so where spirits are coming out to play, and all that is hidden will be brought to light. It's up to you to define the true fruits of your soul.
Fruits of your soul.
Yeah.
Also, fruits of the spirit is a thing.
Is it? In
is.
Catholicism, is
yeah.
that a thing?
Well, in Christianity, yeah. It's like, I don't know, the fruits of the spirit are like patience and, I don't know, because the fruits of the spirit and the virtues are different things. But it's like patience and fortitude and that kind of thing.
Oh, fascinating.
I used to know them.
Yeah, there you go. So, like, this Beauty and the Beast Temu version enchantress is talking about this is what's going to happen. And that night we have our priests. They're hanging out in the cemetery, I think.
No, it's the garden. They're in the garden.
Okay, cemetery is adjacent. Cemetery is later. And they're having wine, and then the ground like kind of starts to shake. And if this were a film, this would be like the musical subtitle would say strange, eerie music starts to play. And they're like, oh, it's an earthquake. And I want to read this to you because
please.
I highlighted this and my brain was nuts. Okay. The ground shakes around me. My mind jumps to the conclusion of an earthquake. I don't think we have those here. I've never experienced them, but they could have been lucky. I try to push up, but I'm stuck. My body frozen. What kind of wine was that? I didn't think I was that drunk last night, but I'm completely incapacitated. Down. The giant isn't grabbing my skin at all. No, I don't have normal flesh anymore. My body is hard and firm. Oh my God, am I dead? Is my body already experiencing rigor mortis and now I'm trapped in a lifeless corpse? Maybe this giant is a god taking me to the afterlife. But then she brings me to her face and I make her out. It's Emily. She's picking them in the garden. And then he continues, she's not holding a tiny version of me. She's holding a cucumber. A fucking cucumber. I'm a cucumber. It's almost too ridiculous to be a dream, but it has to be because what the fuck? She shifts her attention to her other hand and I glance over to see the tomato she's holding. As I look at the round, firm vegetable, something in me pings. That's not a tomato at all. That's Robert. I could recognize him in any form. It doesn't look like Robert. It looks like a goddamn tomato. But as much as I can tell I'm a cucumber, I can tell that tomato is Robert.
And this is the level of scientific discovery that the book goes into. It's just like, I woke up as a cucumber. Mm-hmm. And I looked over with my non-seeing cucumber eyes. And I knew that the tomato was Robert. Period. Yeah. There is the stretch of your imagination.
Yeah. So Emily is just plucking these guys from the garden because she's getting vegetables to make a salad. And she takes them back inside the parish kitchen and is like, oh, yes, lettuce and da-da-da-da-da. Wait, this cucumber, this tomato, I feel stirrings. I must take these vegetables to my bedroom and commune with them.
She felt magnetically needed to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the Harvest Moon, Nikki.
It's true. It's true.
This isn't what you do every Harvest Moon. This isn't one of your, like, crystal clearing practices.
Who the hell knows? So Emily starts to...
We don't need to go into details. I think I feel like you can imagine. Soulmates.
But here's the thing. As she's fucking around with these fruit/vegetable things. Produces. We are still in Laurent's POV for some of this and Robert's. Like, we're going back and forth between, like, the priest POV in this first instance. And Laurent thinks to himself, as all of this is happening, he gets over this real quick. This holy fuck, I'm a piece of produce. I'm a vegetable fruit. He's like, maybe God isn't sinister. Maybe God's giving me exactly what I want, except as a cucumber. Weird, but God is known for doing some weird shit. He did make a donkey talk to teach some poor chap a lesson. Again, my suspension of disbelief. I would not have been able to get over the fact that I'm a cucumber so quickly. And then he goes, praise the Lord for whatever the heck is going on right now, because God, do I fucking love being a cucumber, because I'll give you one guess where that cucumber ends up.
It's exactly where you think it ends up.
Here's the funny thing, though. In the first encounter, when Emily doesn't know that these are the priests and the priests are strangely too on board with being produce, it switches to Laurent's POV as the tomato. And the tomato is more used topically, I'll say, but only describes the insertion of the cucumber. I was actually shocked when I finished that first encounter that I'm like, why didn't we get the POV of the cucumber?
No, the first time we got the POV of the cucumber, and then the second time we got the POV of...
No, it was the opposite way.
Was it both?
No, it was the opposite way. The first one, in the first sex scene involving the produce, Laurent as cucumber... It starts off and it's like, I get down there, and then it switches to Robert. Oh. And Robert describes seeing Laurent going where I'm not going to say.
I would like to think no cucumber has gone before.
No, I was going to say cucumbers have gone there before. We've seen
not in Emily's.
Comedies. Not in Emily. Not in Emily, but in generally in pop culture, cucumbers have gone there before.
Oh yeah, totally.
But no,
I'm sure emergency room nurses see it all the time.
I would be shocked to see the things that get inserted. Yes. But no, then it switches to Robert's POV as the tomato, and he's just observing the cucumber go where cucumbers have gone before, but never with Emily. And then it ends. And
tell me, what was going through your brain while you were reading this? Last night, this morning?
Yeah, I read it last night.
You were thinking, oh God, Meg, why did you do this to me?
No, but I was, yes, but also, I accept the premise that we're going to read fucked up food, and I'm totally on board for it. But as I was reading this, I couldn't get VeggieTales out of my head, and the fact, I've never really watched VeggieTales. Like, I was too old for it.
I was too old for
it. And, but I know what it is. I am alive in the world. I know what VeggieTales is. I've seen clips on YouTube. I just had this vision of the tomato and cucumber to start singing. And when the cucumber is inserted, I was like, that'd be an interesting echo chamber with which to sing, in which to sing. Because as we find out later, they can vibrate.
Well, that's what they discover later on.
Yes, later.
Once they have like sort of, so after this first initial experience, they complete, we'll say, and then they wake up in Emily's bed as humans, and they all go, well, and Laurent's like, oh, we could do that again. And Robert's like, nope, we can't do that again. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. And they all sort of go their own ways. And then the next time that they turn into vegetables, because this happens multiple times over the course of the book, Emily's like, I can't do it. I can't. They just sat on her nightstand because she was like, I don't know. When you don't know that they're sentient, maybe you can sort of put away that part of your brain. But like, if Robert says no, then he's not consenting. So she's very respectful of that. But then the third time they turn into vegetables, that's the time where they start to get really excited in their sentient forms and discover that they can vibrate. And Emily's like, oh, they're vibrating. I guess they're okay with it? ? It's, yeah, it's a lot to take in and morally to question. But they had spoken about it prior to that, so at least they had some sort of agreement that, like, if this happens again, maybe there's a reason for it to keep happening.
Yeah, so I like this because Emily brings it up, you know, at some point in their discussion, like, obviously, there's I love that their conflict is more about should you have sex or not have sex, you're like, because you're a priest, but you're also a vegetable. That Emily says, but you're both priests. Aren't you not supposed to have sex with women? And Laurent says, loophole. We weren't priests when we were fucking you. I was a cucumber. Robert was a tomato. Maybe this is a gift from God that he's letting us have you. Because technically, the cucumber and tomato didn't take a vow of celibacy. They're not priests. This could totally be fine.
Totally fine.
So, but
God
that's
gave
what
us a
they're more
loophole.
concerned with. They're more concerned with that rather than how are we turning into cucumber and tomato?
There are miracles, Nikki. Miracles. Do you know the saints all are declared miracles? Nobody can explain how that happened.
Yeah, well, and then they
that's
kind of go
faith,
back and forth.
Nikki.
No, it's so true. You're right, because Emily even says at some point, she says, I've done some weird shit throughout my life, but never have I stuck a cucumber up my vagina or rubbed a tomato over my clit. I'd never do something like that unless supernatural forces were at play. So really, in this sense, is God creating a non-consensual relationship, or at least dubcon? There's a little bit of dubcon happening. A little bit of dubcon. If they say they are at the mercy of God and fate and whatever supernatural forces at play, and again, Timu, Beauty and the Beast, Enchantress, this is the real ethical dilemma that we're really trying to analyze through this parable using vegetables.
Theological erotic allegory. Because, and we can zoom out in a minute to this question, most sentient object romance, they're actually able to communicate. They're actually able to give consent. In this particular version, they cannot speak. They sort of like the first time she didn't realize they were sentient, she just felt something. And then the next times that it happened, they weren't able to consent, but they had a discussion about it. Versus, I did read a couple other sentient object romances in preparation for this episode. They were all just as ridiculous, but less theologically draining for me and more just completely unhinged. But all of them were enthusiastically verbally consent.
Yeah. Well, I love it too, because at some point as they go through this weird relationship, Emily even has a thought at some point going, well, am I going to turn into a zucchini? Like, am I safe?
Emily never moves, but like, she never took vows.
There you go. But
she's just a chef. She can do whatever she wants. She has no obligations.
No, but she says the real question is, why did this happen and will it happen again? Will I turn into a zucchini or something? The thought sends terror down my spine as I enter the kitchen, swinging the basket on the counter. But then I think about the priests using my zucchini body to please them, and my fear washes away. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
No, it would. It would be fucking weird. And terrifying.
I think it would be terrifying because the first time it happens, the priests, like, they pass out from wine in this garden cemetery, whatever. And Emily finds them the next day, plucks them from the vegetable garden as the tomato and cucumber and brings them inside and is like, I'm so horny for these pieces of vegetable. I'm going to take them to my room. And then after she does her thing, then they kind of turn back human. The next couple of instances, it happens spontaneously when they're together and she sees them literally like
just drop
and turn into produce, which I also found really funny because then Timu Enchantress comes back and is like, ooh, it will only happen when you're together and when one of you is not being true to yourself.
Robert.
Like, this will only happen if, but I'm like, this feels like a really weird punishment, or like, you know what's better? Therapy.
Priests don't need therapy.
Send them to actually, there are scenes in the confessional booth. I will say that.
2 of them. 2 in that confessional.
Yeah. And I think
both times with Robert.
Yeah. And I think it's Robert. I highlighted this quote. I think it is Robert that says it. So he says, as he's going through his existential angst about not why am I tomato, but why do I want to fuck Emily and Laurent? He says, maybe this is a gift. I'm not sure why he chose to turn us into vegetables, but if I'm a tomato, I'm not a man of God. I'm just a veggie, and veggies can't sin. Boom, loophole.
I mean,
see,
perfect logical
all
sense.
religious figures find loopholes, so I feel like this is very on brand for Christianity as a whole.
The Catholic Church in particular, yeah.
There you go.
Let's be honest. Do we have any more takeaways from Pounded by Produce? Because I feel like I don't need to go line by line on this bad boy.
Let me.
Do you have any favorite sections that you'd like to do a dramatic reading of?
So here's the thing that I really started thinking. So there's a couple instances where during the sexual encounters, the vegetables have their own reaction as metaphor for ejaculation. So Robert as tomato kind of says, it all becomes too much. There's a pop and wetness around me. I burst. A small hole opens at the bottom of me and my literal seed drips onto Emily's skin. It's like a strange version of tomato cum. Ugh. And later, when we get Laurent as Cucumber's POV, when Emily is doing some like internal stimulation, same thing happens. He bursts. And Emily later says, I don't enjoy mutilating vegetables. I somehow made them burst and I had to clean cucumber and tomato gunk from my crotch. Ugh. Actually, maybe I did like cleaning that up. And I even tasted a little bit of it, as weird as that sounds. But I will need to head to the pharmacy at some point because I most definitely contracted a yeast infection.
Ew.
So here's my question. Do you think you can get a UTI from a cucumber bursting inside of you?
I think anything foreign coming in contact with your urethra could potentially cause some sort of bacterial infection.
So would
you believe that I was listening to a podcast about the rise of UTIs like this morning and did not make this correlation?
No, okay.
It was an Atlantic article.
Here's the imaginary conversation or scenario I had. Like, you know, a lot of those YouTubers like Bistro Huddy, Shauna the Mom, the group chat where it's like one person acting out like multiple characters, right? And the lore is deep. I had this vision of Emily going to see her gynecologist. And coming in, it's like, you know, hello, Emily, I'm Dr. Gynecologist. What brings you in today? And Emily having to explain, well, I've been having intimate sexual relations with cucumber and tomato, and so powerful are the walls of my vagina that it's resulted in the fruit slash vegetable slash produce being crushed within me. And, you know, just like they say that you have to pee after sex, I have tried to clean myself out in the shower, but now it burns when I pee, and I'm a little concerned. Would you be able to check it out? And then I can see the gynecologist getting out a speculum, you know, getting right up in there and checking it out and going, you know, are you a hippie? Is this a sustainability thing? You don't want to introduce plastics into your internal things. You're like, organic vegetables from a church seem great. But like, how does that conversation go? And you know what? If you have a food fetish, I'm not here to yuck your yum. Go with God, literally. But how do you have that conversation? How does this happen?
I think you did it. I think you nailed it. actually. Get out the speculum because you are in good shape. I mean, like, I was just thinking about the walls of a vagina really working like a produce juicer. Of just, like, squeezing it out into some sort of device.
If you've ever watched, like, hentai,
I have not.
As I have.
I'm so glad that you're the expert on these things. I have Catholicism, you have hentai.
I'm here to discuss animated hentai with all of you. A lot of times when they show internal penetration content, there's some interesting things they do with the walls of whatever internal part of a body that something is in. And yeah, that's what I kept imagining. It was just like a cucumber. And to your point, acting like a juicer, you know? Is this one of the really expensive juicers that is like a cold press juicer? It's not heating things up too much, so it maintains a raw food movement quality.
No, it's got to be warm in there. It's going to be heated. Like, it's got to be at least the temperature of your body.
Well, then she's not getting any of the health benefits. And I'm really concerned for Emily's health right now.
I'm concerned for her mental health more so than her nutrient density. Yeah.
Yeah. So after all is said and done, Timu Enchantress comes back and they realize, they get caught. So they decide to say fuck it or fuck each other, as it turns out. And both Priest and Emily end up having a sexual encounter in the kitchen. And in walks Gail, the housekeeper / parish administrator, something like that, and is like, oh my God, and like she runs out. So of course the bishop gets called. The priests are essentially quote unquote fired. They're probably going to be excommunicated. Emily's about to lose their house, and she runs into Gail and she's like, Gail, I'm so sorry you had to see that. And Gail is actually like, you know, love is love. Clearly those priests have been hot for each other for a long time, so I guess it's okay, but I would really recommend you lock doors. And by the way, there's a vegetable farm down the road that's for sale. And this ends happily with them owning a vegetable farm. Happy ending?
Happy ending. Ta-da! And they stop, as soon as they express their love to each other, they stop turning into vegetables.
Yeah. Which brings me back to, does this have too much plot? Because I tell you, the amount of angst on page and the Robert waffling back and forth. I can't. I will. I can't. I fucked her. Oh no. I'm great.
I'll just get it out of my system.
Yeah, this is too much drama for what this is. But yay.
Yay. Pounded by produce.
Yes.
Soulmates.
You're welcome.
You are welcome. So let's talk about Sentient Object Romance in general. Because I was planning to just do Pounded by Produce and call it a day. But then once I downloaded it and once I started reading it, Amazon was like, hold my cucumber. Because it was like, tell you what, Meg, we know that you like this. Did you know that there is a full series called the Sentient Object Holiday Series? It is.
I think you mentioned this before.
I don't think I have. This was new to me. We have talked about other things. So it's the Sentient Object Holiday Series.
Oh, God.
It is 14 books. And then we're going to zoom it out even farther, talk about sentient objects. But it is 14 books to celebrate the following holidays. January 13th, International Rubber Ducky Day. Are you ready for the rest of these? January 21st, International Sweatpants Day. February 11th, National White T-Shirt Day. Yes, these are all sentient objects that they have romances with.
Sweatshirts and T-shirts?
March 2nd, World Water Day. April 1st, Edible Book Day.
What?
Edible book. May 1st, International Tea Day. They celebrate my date with bubble tea. June 28th, Caps Lock Day. July 2nd.
Caps lock, like caps lock on a keyboard?
Okay. July 2nd, UFO Day. August 27th, World Rock, Paper, Scissors Day.
Oh.
September 8th, Ampersand Day.
Oh, God.
October 7th, National LED Light Day. October 9th, Leif Erikson Day, which is not actually a sentient object, but it's a statue.
Unless it's a statue.
It's a statue
of Viking Leif Erikson?
Yes, okay. That is right. November 3rd, World Jellyfish Day.
Oh,
And December 11th, International Mountain Day.
Okay, you know how I hate read the first 12 books of Ice-Sided Barbarians? I'm not looking for another hate read at this point, Meg, but how?
I read 3 of these. Each of them is less than 50 pages.
Which 3 did you read?
Do you want to guess? Do you want me to give you the list
Ampersand.
again? I read Ampersand first. Good call.
Yeah, I was like, you're a grammar nerd.
I'm an Ampersand person through and through.
Did you do edible books or no?
I did not do edible books. I did Ampersand.
Did you do one of the clothing, sweatshirt or t-shirt?
I did rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
And I did caps lock.
Okay.
And they are all written by different authors. I think there's maybe 10 authors who wrote the 14 books.
Okay.
They are not interrelated, so you don't need to read any of them in order.
This isn't an interconnected universe where the lore is really important?
No,
okay, good
God,
to know. I was really concerned.
None of this is important. If you think Pound by Produce had too much plot, you will not have this problem in this series. I will say that the Ampersand book had a drawing of all of the parts of the ampersand. This is the loop, and this is the stamen, and this is... I had no idea ampersands had that many parts, and also they used every single one of them.
So really it was educational is what I'm hearing.
It
was like a real typography masterclass.
I mean, I do love a good ampersand usage.
Wait, was the ampersand serif or sans serif?
He was sans serif.
Okay.
I'm sorry, her name was Sandy. Sandy the ampersand.
Oh, because I feel like if she had serif, then that would almost be, is that like a typographical clit? On like one
basically, yeah, but also like her stamen sort of opened up into like a little vagina,
like a little pocket,
a little pocket.
Oh God!
And she was able to use her stamen and her stem to like insert into Gwen, the main character. So that all happened at the library.
Is it Sapphic?
That one was Sapphic. And then
representation, snaps for representation.
And the others were all white shoes that I read. Now there may have been others with sweatpants, t-shirts, Leif Erikson statues that were just MF, but I feel
like sweatpants has to be gray sweatpants.
It was gray sweatpants. Yeah, that's just like that thing in romance. And then rock, paper, scissors. Obviously, it's all 3 of them, rock and papers and scissors. But the best part about these books is just how freaking ridiculous every metaphor is. Where it's like, that paper is recyclable. It's all made from recycled materials. And they make origami jokes about the folds. And it's just all completely ridiculous writing. And you can tell every book, the author will write like a little forward and be like, we're romance authors, we have weird thoughts, we chase them, it doesn't make any sense, none of this, like, this is all just for fun, but then I was like, okay, well, I'll just come and tell Nikki about the 14 book International
I love it
LED Light Day, and I was like, but is there more to it than this? And so I went on a quest to be like, what are all of the sentient types of objects that show up in romance novels? There are multiple subgenres of sentient objects. Food. We have pies, we have pancakes, we have pickles, right? Pickles.
That makes sense. Phallic pickles.
Leftovers. We have furniture, coffee tables.
I can see that.
Lamps,
chairs.
right?
Yeah.
Technology. We have phones. We have e-readers. We have things like that. And
that's some weird Buffy the Vampire shit when like the demon was in the computer.
Oh yeah. And we also have sentient weather systems like hurricanes.
See, that's more just like fucking Storm in X-Men.
Yeah.
If she could like take on the form of a wind gust, I guess. Interesting. Okay, I'm fascinated.
Well, she could more like control the wind than take on the form of a wind. But yeah. And then I was like, okay, but where did this all come from? And what was the story behind, where did this come from? And this pretty much was started by Chuck Tingle. Are you familiar with Chuck Tingle?
Have you never heard in my life heard that name. No.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of him, but I never really went on a deep dive down it. So Chuck Tingle started writing books that have won like Hugo Awards. And he definitely has some tingle in the groiny bits. But it's mostly like satire that is verging on sci-fi. I have not read Chuck Tingle. This is something that I started going down this rabbit hole last night, and I was like, I can't do this. But here are some names of Chuck Tingle books, just to give you an idea. My neighbor's 12-foot decorative holiday skeleton gets me off.
I've
Also,
heard
she
of
is
that.
a lesbian.
I have heard of that one.
Oh wait, this one this one's so long that I have to open it up as a new one. Bisexual Mothman mailman makes a special delivery in our butts. I'm sorry I laughed through in our butts, but I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and the fact that anything ends with in our butts. There's another one called Pounded in the Butt by My Handsome Sentient Library Card, who seems otherworldly, but in reality is just a natural part of the priceless resources our library system provides. These are all actually books that you can read in Kindle on Kindle Unlimited. The physical manifestation of Soup's weather looming arrival gets me off bisexually. Journalist pounded by the physical manifestation of an egregiously mishandled group text from members of the sensitive government information.
Oh my goodness.
Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt is a book.
Oh, cool.
Not pounded by bi erasure because my current hetero-presenting relationship does not invalidate my queerness. So that's a short overview of Sentient Object satire, really. I don't know if it's... But, you know, like...
It's like we randomly mentioned that video game that you can like fall in love with anything, like The Door.
The Door.
I feel like, this is very much in that realm of weird object.
Would you like to play a game?
I would love to play a game.
Would you like to play a game where you guess if it's really the name of a Sentient Object Romance book or if I made it up?
Yes, I do.
You do.
That skeleton one already sounded like it wasn't real, but... All right, hit me with it.
Okay. The deviled egg made me do it.
No.
Real.
Really?
Real.
It seems too blasé. That's too tight. That's too tame.
Boiled over by my Instant Pot.
Oh, that sounds real.
That one's fake.
Oh my God. Okay, clearly. Y'all, somebody write that because Instant Pot representation.
Taken by my TBR.
Like your to be read list?
Mm-hmm.
Real.
That one is real. That's written by Holly Wilde. It's a bibliophile's book comes to life.
Okay.
Plugged in a smart fridge's love story.
No.
That one's also fake. Good.
Yeah.
Fully charged.
I feel like that book exists, even if it's not a sentient object. That title seems too generic to not be real.
That one's real. That one is love sparked with a charger.
Okay.
Pounded by a pommel horse.
Ow.
I know, right?
Like, have you ever seen male gymnasts on a pommel horse? Like, there's a reason they gotta wear real tight things to kind of keep their bits, like, tucked in, because that would fucking hurt. Sure. Let's say that one's real.
That one's real.
Yeah.
Fork me once.
Fake.
Fake. I kind of want to write that one because that's
generic.
a great name.
Too generic.
Defrosted by Desire, the Hot Pocket Chronicles.
Oh, God. I hope that one's fake because, no.
That
It's
one's
real,
fake.
isn't it?
That
Oh,
one's
it is
fake.
Okay.
But ChatGPT...
it's always cold in the middle. Come on.
ChatGPT wrote me the byline for it, and it said, he was frozen until she preheated his heart to 425.
Yeah, but then he's still going to be cold on the inside because that's how Hot Pockets work.
Yeah.
That will not be a fulfilling relationship.
Well, don't you put it in, like, the little sleeve?
No, a lot of times that's the thing with, like, Hot Pockets and Pizza Pockets and Pop-Tarts is the outside always gets burned and way too hot, but the center is still fucking cold.
Yeah, but, like, that little microwavable sleeve is supposed to help with that.
Oh, I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, that is the last of my fun for Pounded by Produce and the Sentient Object Romance.
I like it. I like it. What a tradition.
Second year in a row, and
somehow
I'll find a way to keep going.
And play games. We do this.
I will find a way for year 3.
Someone has to do it. Someone has to do it.
Y'all, you didn't know you needed this.
You're welcome.
So, Nikki, what do you ship the most about Sentient Object Romance?
Wow, what a question.
Because the thing is, the way that I asked it means that you have to ship more than one thing, because there is a most, which means that there has to be some sort of hierarchy of favorite things.
I think for me, it's the rabbit hole my brain goes down about the off-page logistics.
Is this the way that, like, you couldn't get into an alien coming to Earth because he didn't have a social security card?
You know, if Gail in Pounded by Produce, does she go to confessional and confess what she saw? Or does she just take it to the grave with her? These are the things...
Oh, no, she took it to the bishop. She didn't have to take it to the grave.
No, but, like, how much did she say? Versus, I caught them in a thing. Because she, you know, she says to Emily later, like, oh, you know, love is love. As I get older, I've seen things, whatever. So for me, it's not necessarily what happens on the page, because those types of logistics break my brain and stress me out. Like, what do you fucking mean it's rock, paper, scissors or caps lock? Are you just like banging your genitals with a keyboard? Like, what are we doing? But instead, it's the more fun, I'll say, existential rabbit holes that I go down when being exposed to things like that. Meg, what about you? What are you shipping about these?
I think for me, it's the absurdity. It's this idea of, like, you want me to suspend my disbelief for that. That's the thing. The lesbian cactus in my water-efficient, drought-tolerant landscaping is the thing, right? Like, just the levels to which these... That's a Chuck Tingle, too. But the levels to which these stories are just like, let's just take this trope and turn it on its head. Or let's, you know, play with how all of these things work. Or let's just go completely balls to the wall. Sometimes literally, depending on the positions that they're in. But this idea of, like, let's find the weirdest shit that we can and write it just because it's fun, just because it's enjoyable for us as writers, just because the readers are going to laugh at the puns, just because, like, we can. And in the world of self-publishing, in a world where nobody is a gatekeeper, the weirdest shit can get published and shared, and maybe that in itself is something to be celebrated, even if it's ridiculous, because it's like, well, this is not what people were talking about with free speech, but it can be, and you can just have fun and not take it all so seriously. And I think that's what I like most about this sub genre. To explore it once a year for a satire.
It's a little niche. There we go. No, I love it. All right. Well, before we get into the epic question of what we're shipping this week, a few reminders on how you can support the show for free. Best thing you can do is head on over to your podcast provider of choice, leave us a rating, review, and subscribe to the show. Helps other people find out about us, tells the algorithmic gods that we are interesting, intelligent women with really concise, interesting, and scholastic views of romance, and we just appreciate it. You can follow us on social media. We're at First Dates and Soulmates on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you listen to one of our past episodes, you will know that Meg made us a website, and we have an epic quiz on there that tells you your romance trope, as well as delivers to you a fairly excellent playlist of episodes to check out. You can find that at firstdatesandsoulmates.com/quiz. Yes, she did get the .com. We are legit. And if you do have a little bit of money to spare each month, you can check out our merch store. It's on TeePublic. It is linked in the show notes. Or you can subscribe to the show on Substack. It can just be a one-time only, or it can be recurring. Totally up to you. And we appreciate your support in all the work that Meg and I put into the show. Now let's get to the really important questions. Meg, what are you shipping this week?
I'm finishing up my trilogy, because I know this is coming out when people are going into their holiday romance. So my final ship of my Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone Christmas Notch trilogy, even though it has 2 mid-series novellas in it as well, is A Jingle Bell Mingle. It is the 3rd member of the boy band. So this is Isaac. He is the reason that the boy band broke up, because his wife died suddenly and tragically, and he sort of just went into his house and became a bit of a hermit for 5 years and didn't want to put out any music and went into a severe depression. And at the end of book 2, he comes to Christmas Notch, Vermont, and he buys a house there, and that's where we pick up, is at Callum and Winnie's wedding, I think. Maybe it's the other two. Maybe it's the couple from book 1. I can't remember which couple it is, but they're at their wedding, and he ends up with Sunny, who is she's been in each of the books. She is a director and a PA, and she works for the porn company, and she has sold a script based on something that one of the strippers from the North Pole told her about a myth that happened in Christmas Notch, which is why it's called Christmas Notch, about a mailman who was trying to deliver presents, and then he got stuck in a snowstorm, and an angel brought him to a woman's house, and then the next day she found out during World War II that her husband died, and then the mailman stayed with her. And yeah, you know, one of those like epic myths that you hear a stripper tell you after you finish with the pole dance. I don't know. And so Sunny's there trying to write this book, and Isaac says, why don't you come live with me while you're doing the screenplay for this? And so it's a roommates to lovers. It's two people who have experienced a lot of loss, thinking about what it means to love again after that amount of loss. And it's just like ridiculous location. You get to see the other characters from the previous books because this is the final one in the series. And it's just like a delightful little romp, but also like, because of the way that it's set up, there is some working through and processing grief in there, which I think can be difficult. So I want to let people know about that. But I think a lot of us also have grief around the holidays, and it's okay to acknowledge and include in our Christmas romances. And it doesn't all have to be that light, fluffy side of things. So
beautiful. I love it.
Nikki, what are you shipping this week?
For me, it is one of the best times of the year when the latest Heart to Heart anthology comes out. So Heart to Heart Volume 8 at the time of recording just came out a couple days ago. I always pre-order it, and I always binge read the entire book in a day. So Volume 8, if you're unfamiliar with the Heart to Heart anthology, this is the 8th volume. The idea behind it is that all of the anthology's books and stories within them are based around the Heart to Heart app, which is a dating and community app used by the queer community. And in each anthology, there's a different premise around the app. So there was one that was like a never have I ever type of structure. There's been like a secret date type thing, blind dates. In this anthology, the premise is people needing a +1. So it's people going into the community side of the app because they need a +1 to come with them to a doctor's appointment, to be a fake boyfriend at a wedding of their ex-partner, or for whatever reason people are looking for a +1. And all proceeds from the book sales go to supporting various charities. This year, I looked it up. It's actually 3 Canadian charities, which is pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
They're all it's the 519. It's Black Pride YYC, and it's the Queer and Trans Health Collective. Those are based in Toronto, Calgary, and Edmonton, respectively. And it's just so great because some of my favorite authors are in this series. You've got E.M. Denning, Kate Hawthorne, Lily Morton, Riley Nash, Charlie Novak, Briar Prescott, Faye Quinn, C. Rochelle, Emmy Sanders, Becca Seymour, and then some new authors to me, Marley Valentine, Jodie Oliver, Kreia Raytan, and Cambria Hebert. So it's so great. There's definitely some stories in there that they've already said in there. Like one of the stories that really stood out to me was the one by Cambria Hebert, because it was about these two characters, and literally at the end of her section or their section of the book, they say, I loved these characters so much. I did write them a full-length novel, and that will be coming out in 2026. And I was immediately like, amazing. On your newsletter, I need to know when this is coming out. Because the other
like and subscribe. Yep.
Exactly. The other thing with the Heart to Heart anthologies is they're not always available. They are only available for sale for a certain amount of time, and then they're gone forever. So I have so many of these because I love them so much. So if you love anthologies, I don't know offhand the date that it's going out of sale. At the time this episode comes out, it's probably pretty soon. I think it's usually about a month or so that it's on the market. But if you love queer stories and where your purchases go to support charities, I would definitely check out Heart to Heart Anthology Volume 8.
And I just one-clicked it. So it's still there in November. I don't know how much longer. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, it's so good. Highly recommend.
And if you're listening to this live, y'all, go buy Peppermint Bark for $0. Okay, just quick reminder, head on over to Amazon, grab your copy, tell your friends, tell them about Heart to Heart, tell them about the podcast, because that's the way to help us grow, is tell people who you think would enjoy maybe not Sentient Object Romance, but we will be back next week to talk about hockey romance, because we know that that is way more palatable and enjoyable.
Yeah, because y'all, Heated Rivalry, the TV series is launching, and we're going to be diving into the first 2 episodes. And I'm excited because I have never read the book, and I'm not going to, so I'm coming into it fresh. whereas other people have read the book and have very strong opinions about what they want this adaptation to look like. So,
and I have read the book, and I will not be watching this movie, or I will not be watching the series because it's only available in Canada at this point. So you will get both the book and the TV show and the person in the middle who just loves this so much, because we will hopefully be joined again by the inimitable Andrea Jones, pen name Olivia Carter, for that episode. A nice little, Canadian-American talking about gay hockey romance.
Love it. Amazing. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.